Welcome to another episode of Totally Naked. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. As you can tell by the title, we're asking that age-old question, where is Bae? I mean, we have done it all, right? We have made the list, we've said the prayers, we've done the online dating, we've even done the blind dates, right? And time again, we come up short. Well, listen, I want to challenge your thinking a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't be asking where is Bae, but if we're ready for Bae. If you want to take that journey with us, then stay tuned.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm April.
And I'm Dante.
And welcome to Totally Naked. As we always do, we like to do a post check to see if you were really doing the homework that we assigned to you last week. So we know last week we were talking about changing our mindset. We know that our mindset changes our words, and our words ultimately shift our environment, our universe, our personal space, right? So please do us a favor. Drop it in the comments below. We really want to know, was it successful, what you've done, right? Right, cool. Now, with that same energy, we moving on into February. Ooh. And February is officially the season of love, guys. Love. We got cupids, hearts and balloons and candy. We got all of that, right? So in the season, we know that there are people that are booed up, cuffed up, whatever you want to call it. Right, and then you got the same,
I love you, Bae.
The same status that is sitting before you, we single, okay? Whether we choose to be single or we looking for a bag. Okay?
Well, you got one.
I need the one.
Or the one, right? You know, so we are all in search of looking for, like my good girl said, the one. And typically in that search, we make lists. Yeah. We make a list because we want to be intentional about what we want, right? We just talked about shaping our words, so my words is I need whatever I need on my list. But I do have a question. Is making a list detrimental to finding that thing?
See, for me, I feel like I need the list. The list is like my friend. If I didn't have an idea, like, because everything starts with an idea. Like, so when we create our world, like, I could have an idea that, you know what, I want to go to school. And so what did I do? I went to school. So if I have an idea of the guy or the ideal mate for myself, he's got to be God-fearing, all those things. So then I'm looking for those things and I create that world for me. So I feel like I need a list.
I think it's good to have a list. However, I think that we have to be cautious in that list and ensure that our ideals are not too lofty and that we're considerate of every alternative and not saying that one specific is the only thing that we will or will not accept. I think sometimes our ideas may be too lofty. It may be unobtainable, unachievable.
Lord.
We all want somebody who's a billionaire, millionaire. We don't want struggle. And I think that we have to be realistic and understand that nobody's perfect, even ourselves. So if we want an ideal mate, you know, we can't, and we know that we're imperfect, then we have to be cognizant of that when we're trying to find an ideal mate as well. Don't y'all agree?
I agree with that. I'm personally just not a big list maker when it comes to other people. I'm typically making a list on things that I want to do, on things that are going to make me better so that I'm more attractive to whoever, but I don't have like a list for when I have ideas about people, but not like a list that, oh my God, I need you to check off this, that, and the third.
Okay, so I feel like my list, right? I feel that a list can be detrimental if it is consisting of the wrong stuff.
Okay.
And that's just honest. I think that for me personally, I created my list to be all about materialistic and also physical attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes along with a little bit of maturity. But if you ain't at the mature level yet, we fast forwarding y'all by this episode, by the way.
Hello.
I think that it is a matter of saying more than just what you have materialistically, what you look like physically. I have now changed my list to be a little bit more, what are your morals? What do your mindset look like? Are you able to give me security physically, mentally, emotionally,
Intellectually?
spiritually? I said mentally, right? That's intellectually, right? And also financially. Let's not leave them coins off the table, okay? So I think that if you tailor your list to talk about more of what you want in a person's character, then I think that it makes, to your point, your list a little bit more realistic in obtaining it.
Yeah.
What do you look for?
So,
like, give us your three main things.
my top 3 things would be that I need a man that is definitely spiritually sound,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just I go to church, but it's spiritually in tune and has relationship definitely with God. First and foremost. And you say that, but then when it comes down to come down, which I've recently been tested with, that sometimes that spirituality can be a little bit fluid, but him having faith in God is one thing, but then also having faith in a Christian faith, Jesus Christ, because that is important to me.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, for me, but some people like it just be spiritual. So let me be clear. Spiritually sound means that you have a faith in Jesus Christ. All right. So my second thing is that that you are goal driven and goal directed. Like you are a person who is looking to achieve goals, and you have a great idea about some of the things that you want to achieve. That's important to me because I am a go-getter, and there are things that I always feel like I want to be able to get better and better, and so you can't do that if you don't have goals. And so having someone that's compatible in that way. And then the third thing is someone that makes me laugh. Like if you can't make me laugh, then we will have a problem. And there's so many other things that's probably on my list, which is maybe a problem, but I think in the grand scheme of things, we have in those top 3, I'm okay. I'm all right. You make me laugh, please.
Jackson,
What's your top 3?
Well, other than
brace yourself.
So my thing is, other than now are we, because I think we all want that person who has a spiritual relationship with God, not necessarily, oh my God, I go to church every Sunday and Wednesday and Saturday, because I'm not going to like that. But my thing is, I'm not. But I need you to have a spiritual relationship with God. So we said other than that, or that included?
Yes.
Okay, other than that. So that's always going to be first. The second thing is I like spontaneity. So I like somebody who is spontaneous and can jump up and just do things. So hey, let's go on this cruise. When you want to leave? Tomorrow?
Lord.
Or now. I mean, so.
What can you do?
I love that.
Oh wait, can you do?
Or let's go skydiving again. But this is why you don't see Bae sitting here.
Their part.
So my thing is, I know where I am mentally right now and where I am financially right now. So certain things right now, because of the way my life is going, with my kids and everything, things that I want to do have to put on hold because I have kids. There's a sacrifice that comes with that. So that's
good. I want to talk about that, but continue.
We can get on it. The second thing is always I need you to be able to laugh. My thing is I like to joke, and sometimes those jokes can go to be a little crude. And I need you to be able to laugh at it, and then also when it gets that far and you feel like it's going over the line, kind of reel me in a little bit. Like, I'm not saying control and oh my God, I need to be in front of people and oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Just, my thing is I've had relationships and it's like all it takes is a look and it's like, oh, okay, well, I know I shouldn't go that far.
That may be a little bit too much.
But that's when the connection comes in of I know you, and so I get it. Does that make sense?
Right. It does.
And then the last thing, so other than those two, the last thing would be I need you to have some type of financial acumen. So what that means is
using college words. acumen. All right.
So
what that means is I don't need you to be, making, oh my God, so much amount of money, but I need you to be a good steward over what you do have.
Yes.
And I need you to recognize that things like, credit and budgeting, those things are very important because they're very important to me.
Yes.
So if I'm very strict on that and then you are willy-nilly spending some funds on whatever, that's going to cause a huge problem for me. So my thing is, I just need you to understand that there is some budgeting and some financial acumen and FICO scores and all that stuff needs to be taken care of in order for us to get where we want to be financially.
Okay, so for somebody without a list, you got a list.
A list.
You
got a long list.
Within the list.
But my thing is, a lot of them, so my thing is like she said, I'm not a big, she got to be 5'4" and she got to have these color eyes and she's got to be this complex. None of that stuff is really as important as the things that I just mentioned. Does that make sense?
Right. Exactly.
So my things are more, what are you bringing to the table in your intellect and mentally than physically?
Gotcha.
Maturity. Okay.
So y'all,
10 years ago would have been a completely different list. It is what it would have been.
Right. And so it should.
But as you grow,
it should.
Priority becomes a factor.
It
What
does.
is priority?
I agree. So listen, here go my thing. But I gotta say something, y'all, because I was really on the whole tip, like y'all saying, I just want somebody who is spiritually sound and don't go to church. But if I could be completely real deal, I do want to go to church with my mate.
No.
Okay, and so what I'm saying is because I think that for me, and I'm just saying for me, because at first I was saying, I don't want to judge nobody where they are in their walk, because there was a point in my life where I wasn't going to church all the time. Like, I believed in Jesus always, but was I always committing to waking up on a Sunday morning, finding myself in a church service? Nah. I'm just going to keep it 100. But where I'm at today, the sexiest thing, you trying to bust it down with me? you be in that, bust, that's what I meant. You be in that church
like
with
this,
me.
and your arms raised out and
Come
praise
on.
and worship. I hear you.
And I'm peripheral, I see my man like this.
Hallelujah.
I'm like, oh, snap.
I hear you.
Okay, so I'm not even going to tell a lie like that. Okay?
But that's the same thing. 10 years ago, might have been something
Right, that was
different.
just 10 years ago, honey. Don't mean you're not at the church all the time. Let's just be the truth. But I will say that. Now, no, am I saying that I need a guy who is like, we gotta always be at the church all the time?
Now, that's what I
don't
was saying.
need
Now, that's exactly what I was saying.
Right.
Where's that man at?
I don't need that. Like, one thing,
That's more on us because it's like, again, I don't mind. I love going to church. I love going to church.
But we
But
got
I'm
to
not
be
trying
there.
to be there 4 or 5 times.
We got to be there from dusk to dawn.
There has to be a decent balance.
I agree.
Correct.
Now, I will say, because my great bishop, okay,
Yes.
Judge Davies,
The great bishop.
the great Bishop George Davies, okay, Lord. He says that your family is your first ministry, right? So yes, I do want a man that we can go worship together at the 12 noon service, because honey, I don't get up early. I don't wake up early, okay? Well, we could go and then we can have that, share in communal worship together.
Absolutely.
To me, that is the number one thing on my list. That is the number one thing, that he has his own personal relationship with God, and that we can share and worship together as a couple. That is my number one. My number two, bruh man, but has some goals. So he has to have some success.
Okay.
No, I would say some success. Now, success doesn't look the same for everybody, right? Success doesn't. I was 15 years old and had a baby. My success is that I went to college, full scholarship. I have a job now working for Bank of America. I'm in a leadership position. I'm taking care of my child well, but I don't own a home right now. I'm still paying on a car note. So, I don't have a master's. I just have a bachelor degree. Somebody else could say my achievements are not necessarily in their mind what they would equate to a true success.
No,
right? So what I'm saying is I am not putting a bullet point to say your success has to be this. But I would like to see in your life that you have reached a level of success that transcends into a success that we as a collective could benefit from, that our future family could benefit from, a success that helps towards our financial security. Okay,
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. So whether you're an entrepreneur or you working at a corporate America, some type of success that leads towards our financial security.
Yeah, my thing is when it comes to like when you talk about success, like sometimes like it's all about the mental state of a person or like what like their drive. If you're a person that like you may have had like the cards that were dealt to you were really horrible cards, like and like to be able to pull yourself out of those cards and be able to make something come from that. Rather it was that you just went and got your high school diploma. That way, like that to me is success.
That is successful and it's extremely attractive. The fact that you are mentally strong. Like
That's
you can,
but if that person bad, probably I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think that if a person can be, not that that they have to have the high school diploma, but if they're the person that is they're driven, they're striving for better, they continuously want to do better, want to have something that's better than what the life that they had previously, then I think that with ideals of goals and that you have God leading you, and saying that, what, this is what I need you to do. Because that could be like where you open up a nonprofit, like you said, entrepreneurship. But I think that at the end of the day, for me, it's like, okay, you're driven. Like that is sexy to me. Yeah. Like the fact that you like, what, I'm not going to just sit down and just lay down and just allow things to happen to me. I'm going to make something happen for myself.
Right. As long as there's some action behind that, as long as we're not just sitting around talking about that.
Right, that too.
My thing is this, my talk is very, very small. It's like, okay, that's
let's
great.
Do some action.
What's the action? Like, what is the game plan?
Can I be honest?
Right.
Realistically speaking, where I'm at in my life right now, I need to see a little bit more than you pulled yourself from your bootstraps up. Like, okay. Because I am 30 years old. Next year, I'll be what? Well, I'll turn 31 this year. Then next year I'll be 32. Like, the time is going. I don't want to meet nobody 32, 33, 34, and you talking about your greatest success is that I pulled myself, got my GED, now I'm looking for a job. I think that's great. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying that's not commendable, but is that the person that needs to be my mate?
For you, right.
For me right now, realistically speaking, probably not.
But my thing is that's why we all have individual lists. Like that might not be for you, but that doesn't mean that person is not as a bad person. They
right.
Just
no,
but
I'm saying I'm being specific with my words because I did say I want you to have a level of success that contribute to our financial security. Somebody's level of success contribute to our financial security could be, them getting they could be a high school gym teacher. I mean, but is that what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is I know for a fact I'm not talking about somebody that's in your early to mid 30s and you're legitimately like just now pulling yourself up out of the bootstraps. I don't think that would be my first candidate and saying I want to spend the rest of my life with you right now. Now, not to say that we couldn't grow to that, but I wouldn't be jumping the gun talking about we about to get married ASAP. Like, that probably won't be it. But, y'all, my third point.
Oh, okay.
Is because I only said 2 points.
No, we done jumped all on your stuff. I thought she had did.
They not right.
I thought she had did.
What's your third point?
My third point is that I want him to be sweet to me. I want him to be sweet to me, y'all. I want him to talk to me well. I do want him to treat me well. I do. I would like to, I'm not really a big person on a whole lot of talk. My love language is acts of service.
That's me.
So, you bust them dishes down and cook a dinner for me, honey. I'd be boy, you shouldn't have did that. I'm ready.
What are you doing?
Not distracted out the clothes.
For doing dishes.
Honey, but doing dishes.
I did the pots too.
That part. Give me a kiss. You know who's doing it. So, but I want him to be sweet to me, guys. Like, I want a guy who really puts me as a priority in their life.
Yes,
that
God.
looks at me like, I want you, even on your worst day, I want you. Like, I want a guy to look at me and say, yo, you fly, and there might be some other sexy chicks up in here, but you the one I want to take home, and I want him to make me feel that. That's like, I think I want that more than the success.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, I think I want that more than I do want that more than even the financial success. I do not want that more than us worshiping together.
Right. Okay. So, because that's the next thing. Because, like, I think that the question that you posed at the beginning is, do our list prevent us from being able to have the person? Because it's like we sitting here going back and forth,
right.
But at the end of the day, like you lit up with the success, but that's like sounds like brain stuff. Like, that's like, it's the right thing to do, the right thing to have. But at the end of the day, if you did have that man that was that sweet, that acts of service is your love language, and he is speaking your language fully, could could that be the bae?
Not as bae.
But not broke. I'm not saying they broke.
No, I'm not
saying. And there we are.
Well,
so we gotta look at our list. Right? That's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing.
And guys, don't take me wrong, cause I'm not saying he gotta be no Bill Gates. But if we're talking real talk, marriages end in divorce 50% of the time, because and a larger percent of that 50 is because of finances.
Yes.
And I have to piggyback off Jax and say you have to have some type of financial literacy, that you should be taking good care, because when I think of a partner, a mate, a person who I'm going to be my bae, we have to be able to grow together.
Correct.
In a positive way, because people
Correct.
grow, they sure grow negatively. We need to grow positively. We need to be able to be a partnership in regards to business mindset. We need to build legacy and generational wealth for our kids and grandkids. And I can't do that with somebody who working at McDonald's at 35.
Okay. We didn't. So you went all the way. Okay, so we went all the way to McDonald's.
I think that success for some is in the eye is in the eye of the recipient of that success, right? So some people may feel like, let's go back to the church thing just really quickly. If he or she is saved,
right,
or has that relationship, but they don't attend church all the time, that would not mean that I wouldn't want to be with you, or that's a deal breaker. Because over time, I feel like by me being with you and you already having that relationship, you will end up coming to church with me, or you will desire maybe after you visited maybe once, oh, I do like Impact, or I do like Greater Grand, I do like this or that. And so I think that sometimes, because the success is not directly correlated with what our personal success or intentions are, we'll overlook it. And so I think that that McDonald's worker at 30 may not be right for you. You know what's best for you. But I think that who's to say if he has a plan.
Right.
I think that's the other thing.
Right.
McDonald's is just maybe my plan for the next 6 months to a year. But I'm looking to develop a franchise. I'm almost done with school, and I'm looking to franchise one of the McDonald's. And I think that you have to acknowledge what that success may be for him or her, because that success may be them presenting their best self, but there may be an underlying strategy. And you wouldn't know that until you further investigate or give the situation a try. You can't, we have to be cautious, again, not to have those lofty ideals, but to really kind of assess and analyze the situation from a larger scale, from a more intentional approach, right?
I think you made the word the deal breaker. I think that sometimes we may use that word a little bit loosely, but really, are we operating in deal breakers? Because a deal breaker can be some of the big things. Like for you, it sounds like, him being at church and worshiping with you could be probably a considerable deal breaker. But then there are things that may be not so ideal, but not a deal breaker, because he loves me, so I think that when we say that we have a deal breaker, to really analyze that and stick to it, but then really don't make something that would be ideal a deal breaker.
I get that.
And then going back to you and the McDonald's worker, I want to talk to a lot of my brothers out there. Don't let people tell you that you might be broke when you do things that utilize your hands other than going
Right.
to a white collar job.
absolutely.
I'm just throwing it
No,
out
I'm
there.
not saying you
Because
gotta
certain
be
things-
at the corporate office. I'm
Right.
not saying that. But let me give y'all a little insight into me so you can really see what I'm saying. And I'm like what Kanye say, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. It's not like that. But I grew up, no, I'm just being honest. And this is no shade to my parents or anything. But it kind of shapes the way I think today. Like, I grew up with my father and my mother, for that fact, doing a lot of different odds and ends jobs that would have included working at different restaurants, McDonald's and things like that. Look, I ain't above it. I mean, even my parents, I worked at Taco Bell for a stint. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that when I'm looking at somebody who I could potentially be in a full-term committed relationship that could lead to marriage, it is very essential, because all those odd and end jobs left us in poverty. We had a lot of times when we didn't even have enough to get the essential things we needed: toilet paper, food, lights and heat, like stuff like that. That situation, I'm not willing to enter into just to say because you love me.
You're absolutely right.
That doesn't work for me.
No, I
You get what I'm saying?
And I 100% agree with that.
I want y'all in the audience to understand my heartbeat behind that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to have a 6-figure income to be with me. I don't even have a 6-figure income. But it is something where I need to know that we have the resources to be able to give ourselves, children, the necessities we need. We may not always hit what we want.
Yeah.
But if we can at least have what we need and have what we need comfortably, then I'm good with that. But I can't be with you at McDonald's
and not being able to
even take care of yourself
Right.
on your McDonald's income, because then at that point,
Or you get comfortable.
right.
Never settle for
Get
good
comfortable.
when best is available.
Right.
Correct.
I think that's
Right.
the biggest mindset.
Because
Like, some mindset.
Mhm.
Because as much as you love me, I cannot be like, all right, J.A., I'm going to put love on this thing. Is love going to be able to cover these lights?
Well, I wish it was.
It's not.
Because I love you, J.A.
Can I go to Publix? I'm paying for it with love.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And we get it. I think the biggest thing is that people, I think that our audience, because we're wrapping up, but I think that like our audience needs to know that we do realize there are going to be people at varying levels. Some people, because when you get saved, God transforms mind. That transformation can happen at 40. That transformation can happen at 15.
Yeah.
But if it does happen to you a little bit later in life, you could be the individual that is starting to bloom a little bit later, or maybe have some dreams that God starts to put on your heart at a later time in life. And not to say that you don't go full throttle for those things, because if God placed it there, it was what He intended, and God can redeem the time.
He really
And you know what I'm saying? Dominique may not want to get with you at 30, 40, but I'm saying that right now, if God can change your mind and you really seeking after the Father and following after Him, He tell you to do some stuff, I'm
She available.
I'm rolling with you. I'm rolling with you.
She available.
She said,
roller.
Pass McDonald's though.
Yes, but I think that takes us into our how to live in your own shit.
All right.
Okay. Absolutely, because you said a few key things, especially about shifting and changing your mind. Okay. So, who's taking the first one?
I don't mind. I'll do it. So, I think that in the grand scheme of things, that we need to make sure that we're consulting God about our list. We can come up with a bunch of different things that are favorable to us, or things that we desire, what I want, what my will is, what I feel. But, at the end of the day, what does God say?
Right.
Because what God may have, it may not be your best. Your best may not be what God's best is, and God knows you better than you know yourself.
Right.
And sometimes we be coming up with these lists, and I am notorious for the list. And so with me having that, God has talked to me a little bit about, maybe some things I need to take off, because sometimes we could be a little bit too harsh. I'm just talking about me.
That's fine. And I think also, singleness is not a death sentence. Sometimes God places us in a position, or life places us in a position that for us to just prune and develop ourselves and prepare for who that mate would be, and to ensure that one, we're together.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I receive anything into my space, I want to make sure that I'm intact first.
Mm-hmm.
So look at singleness not as a negative, but potentially as a positive. And make the most of that and prepare yourself.
Travel.
Make sure you have a sound mind. Make sure your heart is right. Make sure your thoughts are correct. Make sure that you are leading and living a life of intentionality.
Right.
And I think that will help you to prepare for
Right.
that
and to piggyback off what you say, if you don't think that you need to check yourself, your singleness will be a death sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
It really will, guys, because a lot of the time we put out what we attract. Okay, I mean, that is powerful. Like, really think about that, y'all.
Right.
What you put out, whether you know you're putting it out or not, it is what you attract. So you're trying to figure out why I'm always attracting all this negativity. Are you putting out negativity? Why keep attracting these dudes who only want me for my body? Well, what you putting out there?
It's on IG, all your stuff all the time.
Or I'm looking for a girl. I'm trying to find a girl who ain't all about this money and all about the thing. But are you flaunting your money, bro? Are you on Instagram going like this, bro, with your money? You know, I think that if Dante made a great point, you have to check you. But if you don't think you need to check you, your singleness will be a death sentence.
It could be a death sentence.
Right. And I say take the time to figure out what you bring to the table. So although you want to mate, and I agree with what you said, like being 100% you and you know, bringing that. But my thing is, this is going to be material and non-material. So this could be financially what you bring into the table, definitely mentally what you bring into the table.
Right.
But right, and you have to check to make sure that your past is in check, so you're not bringing that to your new relationship.
Right.
But just making sure that you know you're taking that time to read books or travel or you know do things that are going to enhance you, so that what you bring to the table is your best self once you are able to receive that mate.
Yep, and letting go of the past.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so this is what we want you to do in this season of love.
Yeah.
We want you to take some time and just assess yourself. If you're in a relationship, we pray that it's working for you. We're excited about it. But if you're not in this season of love, if you're single, take time to do some self-evaluation. We've talked about that in some previous episodes. And just assess what you're bringing to the table. Go back through that list that you've created and look and see, is this intentional? Are these things that I really need, or are these things that I really want? You know, and just go back through and prune it, and then talk to God about it. And ask God, what do you desire for my life in this season? Is a relationship something that you desire? I don't want to jump too quickly. So do some self-evaluation in this effort. Check your list. We're excited for you. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Just stay tuned, because we will be talking a little bit more about Bae next week.
Yes.
So we want you there.
You don't want to miss it.
Put your comments in. We want to know what you are thinking about this episode.
And like, share, subscribe.
Tell a friend. This is Totally Naked. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.